Struggling with debt? Bills, loans, credit cards? Need a way out? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. Free, impartial advice on all your debt matters.
Oscar BEVIS for RFL TV in association with MTK Global here at West Ham Boys Academy today, joined by Jamie Williams. How are you, mate?
There you go, not bad. You?
Yeah, right. I feel like there's a bit of pressure on this interview for you. You're getting filmed from the outside.
One of the young lads just done his first interview, and he's like a world champion. It threw up his tongue, so I've got a lot to live up to now.
Let's talk about the MTK Academy and what they're doing down here in sort of the London section. Yeah, I walk in today, and one thing is evident straight from the off is obviously you said you got Cartwright, talks like a world champ, and don't know if he fights like it, but we'll see. Yeah, but you've also got boys down here who aren't in the best physical shape of fitness, aren't the greatest boxers in the world, so you've got sort of a mixed bunch here. Yeah,
no, a real mixed bunch. I mean, there's some kids at 30 bout amateurs, there's some sort of 10 batters, there's some kids that never boxed before. I think the concept of the whole thing is that they're going to it's open to everyone of all standards, all levels, and any kid that has got an interest in boxing can join. And I think it's good. Like, boxing's a great leveller, and some kids are maybe a bit nervous to come in the gym, and they like fighting, want to watch fighting on telly, and they're a bit unsure. And I think this is opening them up to everyone. And I'm looking forward to working with the kids that are not necessarily as good as the ones that are good, and mixing them all together. Like, I'm trying to install with one big team, with one big family, and it's going to help everyone come on. But they did work hard today, and everyone has got that common love of boxing, and boxing is what I love doing. It's my passion, so it's going to be good to meet them all.
We had a little chat about this off camera, and I just want to bring it back up on camera. You said that sometimes you get boys who walk in here and, you know, outside they think they're the hardest kid in the world, and they sort of have to rule the streets, shoulders out, swagging around. But as soon as you get in the boxing gym, it breaks down those barriers as well. Yeah,
100%. I mean, anyone that knows me, I'm quite loud, and I'll take the piss out of everyone often. And I think I break all that down. So whether you think you're the hardest out on the street you're not in this gym. We're all level, and I'm quite loud with them, and I'll get into them. But I just think kids don't necessarily want to be as hard as they have to act all the time. They bowl around with their shoulders out, and they want to be spoken to and have a bit of banter and have the piss taken out of them and break it down. And I think boxing does that. Like, I think it's the best sport for finding characters out. Any team sports, you can hide, you can have a bad game and hide, you can have the best game and not get the credit you deserve because you might still lose the game. But boxing finds you out top to bottom, and I just think it's the best sport for bringing the best out in people, whether they're a fighter, whether they get fit doing it, whether they learn to coach, whether MTK's idea, they're going to give them all avenues to go, like physiotherapy, commentary, but gym work and one-to-one basis is the best way of finding out kids' characters, and it's the best sport for me to do that.
And I suppose the end goal for the guys who are in here, the 30, 40 bout amateurs, is to turn pro and become world champions. So if they were to turn professional, you know, would they be boxing out of West Ham for an amateur system as well? Or is there a chance if they did turn pro in however many years, you'd be guiding them? Is there sort of that link as well?
I don't know. I mean, obviously there were some boys here today that just love boxing. There were some boys here today with learning difficulties. There was a boy here today with, I can't think, the medical condition, he said. So it really is open to everyone. There was a boy from Huddleston that's good. Jay Cartwright's going to win 3 world titles, he's telling me. Like, he hasn't had an amateur bout yet, but there's something about the kid. Like, he's got something you can't teach, and he's just got confidence in abundance. He walks into the gym like he fucking owns the place. Sorry to swear him, but like, and he walked in like, and I said, how many fights you had? Oh, none. Like, but he can fight, but he's just had a rough life. He's quite open about it. He lived from care home to care home, but the kid can fight. There's something about him, and he has got what you can't teach, charisma, and he's got the belief that he's the best in this gym, but he's not arrogant, and you can really work with that. But I think MTK's idea that there is going to be a pathway to go pro with them. I mean, they're a massive company, but I don't necessarily think they're just doing it to find the next world champions. They want to open it up to give everyone a career in boxing, and I believe this is going to grow to be massive over the next few years. But the best way I can say it is these kids of this year are like the lab rats. No one really knows what's going on at the moment and how big it's going to go, but they're signed in there. I think London's got 24 signed in there, and yeah, it's going to be big and it's going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to getting to work with it.
I want to talk some stuff about the Legends Gym and some of the boys in there now. Tartan Tornado was there recently when he sparring Liam Wells.
Yeah,
and
no,
Liam was out in Spain sparring Josh as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
Liam was out.
what's that like for Liam? I mean,
Yeah, no, listen, he would have done. Unfortunately, his last spar yesterday, he's got a slight little damage to his jaw, like he hurt it yesterday. So I think he would have done over 70 rounds with Josh, and I wasn't there for all of it because family commitments and stuff that I've got. He went to Forteventura, I think, and I spoke to Ben Davidson. Like, obviously, he's a great trainer and he knows his boxing, and he really rated Liam. And I think he done really well. I mean, you ain't going to get called back for 70 rounds with an elite world champion. And it was his last spar, and I believe he starts slow, Liam, and I think it was the first round. And I wasn't there, I couldn't go because I had other work at other colleges. Like I'm sort of busy all week, and I think Josh has sort of checked to hook and come back with a shot and caught him unawares and slight damage. But it's brought him on like unbelievable, and I do rate Liam very highly. And I think if once he can start translating his sparring form into fight night, you've got potential of a good little fighter there. And he's growing as a man. Like he's growing up as an individual outside the ring, and he's becoming a man really. And I think that's going to see the better of him. But unfortunately, this jaw might just put a fight off we was looking for before Christmas. Put him off to after Christmas, but it is what it is. It's one of them things. That's boxing.
Mitch Friesen. Now, I mean, I think it was March time. He was meant to fight a good mate of mine, Michael Elliott. Michael ended up not being able to get his license. He jumped in and he thought, who did he fight again? Because weren't they were sort of planning a little four-thing tournament, weren't they? Where with
I don't know. He was going to fight James Hawley, perhaps. And Mitch just had a marking time fight against I don't want to be rude, but a journeyman.
Yeah, because I know it was James Hawley beat Josh Adewale. Yeah, then he was meant to fight Mitch.
Mitch, due to COVID, has not really. He's been in the gym still, but I've got quite a good group network of friends in my gym. One of my best mates, John Hicks, has done this Ironman. He's like the hero of the gym because he's done this Ironman. And two of my amateur boxers, Mitch Friesen and George Fosh, they'd gone really close with him and they're doing all his Ironman training because boxing's off the agenda for the foreseeable future. So Mitch has gone into Ironman training. He was in the gym. Monday night. Yeah, he would come in the gym Monday night and he's still doing a bit of boxing, but he's not really going to be fighting until after Christmas. So it's sort of like, unfortunately for people like Mitchell, they're like southern area is their goal, and ticket sellers and that, boxing changed it, and they're not going to get on one of these MTK no fan shows. They're not going to get on one of these Matchroom shows because they are what they are. So unfortunately for them, they're going to suffer for a little while because I don't think ticket selling boxing is going to be back for a while, like that you'll call. So he's staying fit, and he's, as I say, he's boxing fit now. He could fight now. He's always fit, but he's sort of changed his training at the moment. But we've always said, Mitch, that a southern area would be like his world title, and he's still looking to fight for that. And we'll see what happens after Christmas.
You mentioned Matchroom and someone who'd been down the Legends gym just a little bit. Johnny Fisher.
Yeah,
Simon Matchroom. It's sort of like he announced that Sam Jones and S-Jam Boxing were going to be his management team, then announced a deal with Matchroom all in the space for a week. He's gone from being someone who was, a well-supported amateur to now a well-supported professional without even having a fight. Yeah, no,
Johnny, I've known John a long time, and he had 2 amateur fights for us. I was training for a couple of years. Then our gym was in COVID shut our gym, and we weren't open for, I can't think now, it was about 5-6 months. And I've moved away, had a bit of personal issues like families and that, and I moved away and just had a lot of things going on. And then just stopped really doing a bit of training for a little while, but a few people still coming over to where I was staying doing a bit of training. And then my main focus for me, anyone who knows me, my passion, kids boxing, teaching kids. I've always said I want to find a kid from absolutely nothing and win a British title, like from absolutely scratch. And that was my idea of going back into colleges. And I think a lot of my fighters, it's a selfish sport, boxing. So a lot of my fighters that were on the outside of it and seeing what I was doing knew that my full focus was going to be on when these academies started and the college work I'm doing. And listen, Johnny had been out to train with Joe Joyce and stuff like that. So I think he understood that he was going to have to come second to a lot of the things I was doing. And he got an opportunity, which you can't turn that opportunity down. And I've spoke to him, wish him all the best. Like, it's going to be good. He's got a lot of learning to do. He knows that. But at the end of the day, he's a 6'5", 19 stone heavyweight who sells tickets, and he's game as arseholes, and he's social media friendly. And why wouldn't anyone want to sign him? The amateur fight you fought on that night, Pav, mate, it was like eruption of people there. There was like so many people to watch him. But he knows, we still speak, he's got to learn to control himself. He sees red and he wants to have a fight. I'm sure he's going to do that. He's got a great training with Mark Tibbs, who's done a great job with Dillian White. And I think if he can do that with Johnny, then we've got an exciting couple of years with the whole Romford ball.
Yeah, I just want to finally talk about, obviously, I know I said you spoke about the boys here at the start, and you talk about this dream of wanting to take someone from absolute scratch to a British title. I mean, where's that come from? Because you can spend so long in a game, you can be around these guys who are at that southern area British level, but do you feel like if you ain't taking them from nothing, you don't get the full satisfaction? Or what's the reasoning behind that?
A lot of my, like another fellow who's going to do these things, Chris Adjadura, I met him when he'd never had a fight, and we started an amateur boxing club together, Brentwood Boxing, and he was, I think he'd had one white collar, or was having his first white collar. And our journey, listen, he fought for the Southern area 4 times, he won it eventually in a fight against Fred Turner, and that was our goal, that was our world title. We had no aspiration to win anything more. It was unbelievable, what a journey. And I'll see the work he put in for 10 years to get that. We was going around sparring, getting smashed up in sparring his pros. And I took him from nothing. There's a lot of kids down the gym that would say, oh yeah, I've taught them a lot from nothing. And I just think it's quite, I just think if I'd like to do that, like just like a test to say, take a kid from nothing, go all the way through and win the British title. So Joe Mullender, one of my fighters, who's coming back now, he lost the British title fight. And we got so near, and yet we were so far away on the night. We come into a world-class fight that night at British level. Joe had personal problems, not taking nothing away from Liam Williams. He's like an amazing fella, like he's an animal, like no one wants to fight him now. But Joe's come back, got a few points to prove. His personal life sorted out. My personal life's getting sorted out now. So we've both got a point to prove. But to get that near that night, and so like, it was 30 seconds in the second round. It's always, I really want to do this now. I'd always dreamt of it. I just think it's nice to, sometimes you get these amateurs that have 80 amateurs and they go pro with someone else, and you think someone's done all the hard work and they was 8, 9, 10, installed them into being a man, taught them morals and all these sort of stuff. And I just think, I've had fighters that have been amateur elsewhere and come to me and gone pro, and I've enjoyed it, but I just think it'd be nice to, what a story, to be sitting there. I think as a kid, I quite like the Brendan Ingle story in his gym and that sort of stuff, and what he'd done with Johnny Nelson, and what a man he was. So I'm not going to be like Brendan Ingle, but what a way to do it. And that's why I put myself back in the colleges, because I said, like, boxing's not an accessible sport. I was talking earlier, you're not going to get 30 kids over a field with boxing gloves and getting talent. Football, you can do it, and they pick them really early. So I thought to myself, what a way. I got into my old school, was doing another school. The college work come up about 4 years ago. Then MTK spotted what I was doing, and they sponsored me some equipment and that, and then it's just evolved to this. Adam Hart was one of my old pros, good friend of mine. He's obviously running MTK London, and he got me a close connection with Sandra, and my opportunity come to run the Londons. And but I think they can see it's what I love doing. If I was a millionaire, I'd still get out of bed every day and want to train kids to box. And not just the box, the mental side of it. Becoming a man, becoming a better person. And that's what I want to do. I want to get a British champion from nothing, from scratch. I might not get it, but that's my plan.
Well, if you was a millionaire, you get out of bed to do it every day, then that shows the motivation's there, yeah?
I would, yeah. I'm definitely not a millionaire. See my car out there, I ain't a millionaire. But I would still do it. And I've met so many friends in boxing, like lifelong friends. It's just a great sport. It's a real leveller. And yeah, I couldn't think of a better sport.
Right, brilliant. Cheers, Jay. And yeah, I might come back down sometime soon, see how things are going on, and come down Legends as well. Yeah,
come down Legends and see some of the kids we've got coming through there, and see Pav with his top off, because he's quite quite impressive.
The female subscriber audience grows by 30%.
Yeah, no, it's good. No, but say that I think this is going to be big with these kids coming through. I think you're going to hear it from that Jay Cartwright again, because my God, can he talk?
Because he don't shut up.
Oh, he's brilliant. I think he's gone on longer than me, though, didn't he?
Struggling with debt, bills, loans, credit cards. Need a way out? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. Free, impartial advice on all your debt matters.